We are back. We are live. Yes, indeed. Thursday. And the week is just getting going here on the YouTube channel. I'm back. I am Kev Baker. I'm your Kev Baker. And boy, oh boy, today we have got a lot of stuff to be taking a look at. So a big shout out to Z Troy. Have one for me, buddy. Oh boy, we need it. Yes, indeed. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I apologise. Well, I don't really, but I am sorry for not being here for all of you in the past couple of days. I have been taking some much time needed to myself to charge up the batteries, but boy, I'm back with a vengeance now. We're going to be making up for lost time today. And I see Marty out there in the chat room. The reason I single you out, Marty, first of all, is because you kind of helped sway my decision on what we were going to stream about today. I'd seen you posting or sharing a video from China over on Twitter, and that got me thinking about not just China, but all of the weird weather and weird happenings, earthquakes, volcanoes, land rising out the sea, type events that have been happening in recent times. So we're going to take a quick look at all of that today. And bear in mind, it's not as if we're just jumping on this bandwagon. if you follow the Kev Baker show. Not so long ago, I took the time out from the show to spend 2 hours working our way through something called the Disaster Cycle, which is a playlist of videos put together by the astonishingly good Ben Davidson over at Suspicious Observers. And there's been a new video update, the latest in the series that I'd been watching, seen Marty's tweet, noticed things going on in Alaska, like Z-Troy is talking about out in the chat room right now, ringing like a bell. And I thought, well, let's just take a look around the world. Let's be calm. Let's not react too emotionally. Let's just chill out, take a look at some of the weirdness, some of the wackiness, and some of the strange earth changes going on around the world. So that's what we're getting into today. And of course, right after this stream, I'll be going and I'll be corralling Scott Lopez and Joe Joseph into the KBS HQ for what is going to be an uncensored, uncut, untamed, raw edition of KBS. Yes, Joe and Scotty Lopez are going to be algorithm free. Bearing in mind, Joe hasn't had about 2 years he's been building up a rant for. It could be very, very, very worth your time to tune into the Kev Baker show in just over 90 minutes from now. The guys have got a lot to talk about, a lot to shout about. The woodshed is open for business. Yes, indeed. So let's go into the chat room, and first and foremost, number one in the chat today, the man, the myth, the legend. There's many of them. Jimmy Jeans, he's a man, a myth, a legend. ZX81, he's another one, man, myth, legend. Ben Emlyn Jones, I think I call him man, myth, legend. I need new patter, right? I need to get new spiel. It's getting old, it's getting stale. But anyway, man, myth, legend, Wookie, you were number one in the chat today. So you get your name in a really, really woke coloured pink. I was just thinking about that when I was setting up the stream. For somebody that's entirely unwoke, I've got a bit of a woke colour scheme going on, and we may have to change that. I'm just saying. So who else have we got in the amazing, not the chat room, it's the chill room. We've got Jocelyn, who's up in Alaska. Wow. We've got Jose Ramon Francis. Moron. My good friend Ron, a salute to you, brother. Skipper Key Philo. And we've also got Z Troy Man, who is deep into the whiskey right now. Good for you. Susan Berland, hello, what's happening? Everything's happening. Everything's happening. I mean, we're going to go over it all. Look, and there's no fear in this. I'm not telling people the world's ending or anything crazy like that. We're just going to take an observational look. We're going to go to that 40,000 feet perspective and observe and see what the hell's going on, right? So we've also got the Bernaise sauce in there. Yes, indeed. Everyone likes a good bit of Bernaise sauce. And Z Troyman says, I'm still up at 5 a.m, Kev. Hence, you got to cram it in before bed. Wow. Up at 5 a.m. Most mornings, that's when I'm getting to bed at. My body clock is shot, ladies and gentlemen. It's nothing new. I've been saying this for years. I'm a nocturnal creature. Truly am. We've got Donnie in from down under. Hatchie as well. I think Hatchie's going to go and have a little whiskey too, Z Troy. I'm telling you, blaming you. So we've got Marty, yes. Who else we got? Polly, good to see Polly coming in there. Carol, ZX. Awesome. So let's get into this, right? Like I say, we've got things popping off in Alaska. We've got mud volcanoes. We've got land rising out of the ground in India. We've got fire rainbows. We've got mudslides. We've got strange clouds. We've got it all going on here. All going on. But to kick it all off, I think I'm just going to play 2 minutes of the latest video in the Disaster Cycle series, because that kind of takes us up nicely to where I really want to get into things today. So this is what kind of inspired us to go down this rabbit hole today as well. I think we'll just take a quick look at this. And Ben Davidson, please, it's only 2 minutes. I urge everyone to head on over and watch the full video. But this touches upon some of the weirdness at the start of the video within the first 2 minutes. So I'm hoping we'll be okay. And Ben has never hit the channel before, so hopefully, touch wood, and praise Allah, Pray to God, whatever I need to do. No copyright, please.
The rebirth of catastrophism has been catalyzed by the age of information, getting its hands on the history of evidence and analysis of Earth's catastrophe cycle, and the evidence suggesting the next one is unfolding now. By the end of this video, you will understand that this is much more than the rebirth of catastrophism. It is a complete science revolution, hiding in plain sight. When we compiled literally centuries of that evidence and analysis into our disaster movie and our book, we were trying to share the science while simultaneously revealing this science revolution. This was more expressly the case 6 months after the book was released on March 28, 2021. I plainly called it more than the rebirth of catastrophism, but a science revolution indeed. More papers and evidence and analysis had come out in that 6 months than I had seen in the decades of previous literature. It is now only 4 months since that postlude to the book and disaster movie, and assuming you have gotten through that postlude, we have to update again, because these scientific fields have hit the accelerator. But first, the Earth has hit...
Now look at this one here. This is China during the recent rains and flooding that was going on. Look at the lights in the sky.
The accelerator, and we've seen auroral anomalies and unexpected severity of space weather impacts. We've seen absurd land motions attempted to be blamed on farmers digging. Okay. We've seen the seas catch fire.
And we watched that one before in the Gulf of Mexico, remember? They were calling it the Eye of Sauron or the Gateway to Hell.
Not once, actually, but twice. Allegedly, the first was a broken pipe that coincidentally got hit by lightning, but the second one gave itself away more plainly in the mud ejection. We have seen such a surge...
Okay, so with that said, that sets us up nicely. We're going to be taking a look at some more of the weird stuff that's going on. Some of the earth change type news that's happening. Earthquakes, volcanoes, land rising out of the sea. Crazy times to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. But the best of times to be alive as well. And bear in mind, it wasn't that long ago. If we go back to December 2020 and our friends down under and the ceremonies they were doing at Ayers Rock and millions of people around the world. Remember when the guys were talking about the planet almost charging up, getting re-energized? Hey, it's anecdotal evidence, but I have to throw it in there. I do have to throw it in there for people's consideration. But just before today, getting ready for things to pull up onto the stream here, and obviously I was made aware of this here, an 8.2 magnitude earthquake, and that's 415 kilometers from Dillingham. I believe that's Alaska, USA, aka I'm useless with the abbreviations, I really am. And our own Jocelyn comes from Alaska, and that's 400 miles south of where Jocelyn is. So if we come over here, Alaskan coast, 8.2 magnitude earthquake, was the strongest one in decades. Now, I know the prolific streamer that covers all of the earthquake type news, Dutch Since. I recommend him very highly as well. He went on air and done an hour-long video on this, I believe. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, so I can't tell you what he's been saying about it. But down here it says the 8.2 magnitude earthquake that struck off Alaska's coast on Wednesday night was the strongest one since 1964. That's a big boy. A big boy earthquake. 8.2. I remember when I can still remember growing up, believe it or not. But do you remember when like earthquakes that were like 6 magnitude on the Richter scale, they would like get big news coverage? A 6 nowadays is nothing, right? You know, over the years, it's got to be, well, it's just a regular kind of 6, a 6.5. And we see these gigantic ones from time to time. Now, it says the very strong quake was located about 56 miles, 91 kilometers southeast of Perryville, Alaska, and happened around 10:15 p.m. Wednesday, the USGS survey said. So I'm way behind the times. At 29 miles deep, and that's 46.7 kilometers, the earthquake is considered shallow. The event was felt throughout the Alaskan Peninsula and Kodiak, according to the Alaska Earthquake Center. And there have been at least 2 strong aftershocks, which you would expect. And I've seen somebody, I think it was Z Troy, earlier on, talking about how it's ringing like a bell. That really doesn't surprise me at all, because that's what happens after earthquakes, including a preliminary magnitude 6.2 and a 5.6. These are the aftershocks that we're getting. It's crazy. There's a map there. So our Jocelyn's about 400 miles north of here, which pleases me and entirely. It says here, we are now all clear and anxiously awaiting for any announcement about a wave hitting our island, Kodiak Mayor Pat Branson told CNN in an email. The Emergency Operations Council was up and working, monitoring and informing the public of any updates. Citizens did evacuate. Now, this was the strongest earthquake since 1964 and our 3rd evacuation in 18 months. But we are all good and grateful now. A tsunami warning issued for portions of the state shortly after the quake has been cancelled for the coastal areas of South Alaska and the Alaska Peninsula and Aleutian Islands, according to the latest update from the National Tsunami Warning Center. A tsunami was generated by this event, but no longer poses a threat. Sorry, folks, breaking news, nothing exciting, so don't worry about it. My apologies for letting that interrupt the stream there. So I think we've got the gist of what's going on here. And if we come over here quickly, earthquakes today. Let's see. This is the USGS. So yeah, we can see it's predominantly made up of Alaska. Alaska, California. There's a 5.1, 4.5. Alaska. You're right, it's ringing like a literal bell. So now, I mentioned Dutch Synths, and if we come over here, we'll get his channel up. There we go. Oh, there's the video there. Let's see.
And it's 8.2. It's the biggest earthquake in years since 2018. We're up at a place called Perryville, Alaska. Perryville, Alaska. We're going to get the coordinates, put it in. First, we're going to go look at the National Data Buoy Center and tsunami.gov.
Hey, Russell. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you, man. I just seen your message there. Great to see you. Brian Jean, or Jen, sorry. My bad. Brian Jen, good to see you.
These are the current buoys in motion, being picked up, of course, across the entire North Pacific, Northeast Pacific, going over to the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center. They do have event details and warnings, info statements, and watches going out as far as Hawaii.
Okay, so I'm going to drop the link for that in there. And as much as I recommend Ben Davidson for the solar stuff, the earth changes, our magnetic field, all the science of the kind of electric universe stuff that Ben gets into as well. Dutch Synths is somebody that when it comes to the earthquakes and things, it's uncanny. And I wouldn't be surprised to find out, probably people in the chat room know this better than I do, but Dutch tends to put out earthquake warnings. He watches the way that these things travel along the fault lines. And it's definitely not guessing, folks, because more times than not, the guy is spot on. Sometimes to an uncanny level of degree. It's like scary how spot on he gets it. So please check out Dutch Synths if you're not already on that channel. I would imagine most people are. Got a huge channel, 500,000 subscribers, and quite rightly so, because he truly does know what he's talking about when it comes to this kind of thing. So that's the Alaskan thing going on. We've had that big earthquake there. Now, if we come over here, the next thing we're going to take a look at is this bad boy. This Azerbaijan mud volcano. Now, we've talked about this on the show before. But remember, I'm just kind of going through all of the things, putting them all together in one place so we can see what's been going on over the past month or so. Because I do think there's been an uptick in weirdness. And even the weather here in the UK, it's been very hot. Now it's summer. Don't think I'm sitting here saying, oh, there's something mysterious about hot weather in summer. Not that, but it's getting hotter, weirder. And then you look across Europe and we've had all of those crazy floods in Germany and Belgium, Poland, all over the place. There's been things going on, right? So that's why I think it's good, not to cause any fear, not to overhype it and tell you Nibiru's on the way in or something. Is Nibiru on the way? I'm only joking. Like I say, let's just put them all together. No hype, no fear. We'll just look at it. So, mud volcano erupts in Azerbaijan. Like I say, we've talked about this before, but just briefly, a mud volcano has erupted in Azerbaijan, sending plumes of black smoke and flames up to 300 meters. That's 980 feet in the sky. Government officials say cracks up to 40 meters deep have appeared in the area after the Otman Bozdag volcano became active on Sunday. The mud volcano, said to be the world's second largest, is located near the capital, Baku. It was not immediately clear if it posed any danger to local residents. So there you go, that is pumping away there. Fifth time in the last 2 years, over 1,000 mud volcanoes are known to exist in the world. Are these the things that lead to something called a mud flood? Is it? Throwing it out there. That's all. Marty, you know me. I've got ways of throwing things into the stream without making myself sound too conspiratorial. But I know that you people out there know how to put my dots together. And when you hear me talking, you know what I mean. You get me. It's the algorithmic type Olympics we play here, and it gives me a degree of safety from people saying, look at that madman saying the Nibiru's on the way in, right? Hey, I provide. You decide, folks. It's all we do here. Now, this one here is a really weird one, and we've seen a bit of it in the video from Ben Davidson. And if we just come here, it says, watch, a portion of land rises suddenly in Haryana. Viral video leaves netizens stunned. So while some said that the earth swelled due to trapped methane gas underneath, others opined that it could be some kind of volcanic. Either way, I'm no expert. And you see this kind of thing happening, hey, hats off if you're going to take the video, but beware. You're either stood next to a ball of methane, not good, or a volcano, equally probably not good, right? The length some people will go for the viral video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, so here it is. Let's take a look at this. And yes, it is. It's GD Bakshi's cousin is filming this. This mud does not raise itself, you know. Would you be standing laughing, ladies and gents? Would you? Give me a second, see if I can get this bigger. We need it bigger. See if we can get it bigger. Let's see. Here we go. Bring it over here. And where's the volume? Oh, let me get the volume. I don't want a new message. But you can see it anyway, right? Pretty weird. Pretty dang weird. Sure sounds like whistles. That sounds like whistles now. That's awesome. Ask Paul Begley about Nibiru. What, again? Again? Paul Begley and Nibiru's coming 3 times a week, right? Oh, I know. I'm very cruel. Very cruel. But what else have we got here? Okay. Right, we've looked at this one already. Looked at that one. That's the mud volcano we were looking at. It's a far better picture of it. You see? It's almost like land rising out of the sea, ladies and gentlemen. Land rising out of the sea. So, let's see. Next up. Extreme weather sees a giant hailstorm in Earl's Barton. Now, when I hear about giant hailstorms, I usually think of places in America, abroad. Over here, we get hail, yeah, but it's just like typical normal hail. Not this time. So it says here, while our country was drenched in sunshine 1 minute, then soaked with rain this afternoon, a strange weather phenomenon hit Earl's Barton. It says it's not yet known if any damage was caused to any property. Did I miss a bit? Yeah. The hailstones, estimated to be the size of Maltesers. You see, again, very British thing here. We're complaining about Malteser-sized hail when you look in places in America at times, and it's coming down like footballs. So it is what it is, right? This video filmed by a reporter who watched the hail batter his garden. Now, where is the said video then? It's not letting me see said video. So we've got hail going on, not exactly the most exciting. Now, this one here I thought was a bit weird. Mysterious cloud film tearing across the sky near North Wales holiday island. Can you believe it? Wales? I can believe it. It was just one of a series of weird weather events to hit North Wales in the last couple of days. So I think we can all recognise exactly what that kind of cloud is all about. Yeah, it's a twister. Indeed. Now, listen, it's not unknown for us to have the odd twister pop up, okay? I'm not saying this is something entirely once in a century type stuff. However, we add it into the mix of what's going on. This one here, another strange one. And it makes me think back to years ago. And before I even show this, I'm gonna see if people can remember. Do you remember when I think it was a big earthquake in the Sichuan area of China occurred? Might have been the early 2000s. It was around about the time when there was a lot of research going into a facility in Alaska, no less. Yes, the HARP facility. Remember that one? Remember, I think it was the University of Anchorage took it off the US Navy a couple of years ago. But around that time anyway, I remember reporting on what we used to call earthquake lights. And I'm smiling and I'm laughing, right? Because I don't know if that was exactly what these lights were. But there was strange videos coming out of China at the time of hours before this massive quake. And it was like a kind of rainbow in the sky. Anyone remember that? I remember that. I've got a useless memory for useless things, but that's what immediately came to my mind when I seen this. And this comes from the State on the 28th of July 2021. A fire rainbow is spotted over coastal South Carolina. What caused this phenomenon? So it says a strange weather event that resembled a horizontal rainbow hovered over North Myrtle Beach this week, prompting an explanation from the National Weather Service. So there it is there. And it says multiple images of the oddity. Let's see. There we go. It's a lovely picture. It's almost like when you see fuel or petrol or diesel in water. You get that kind of translucent-y, weird rainbow effect. I made that sound a whole lot more gay than it needed to. But it says here, showing a streak of rainbow colours wedged between more ordinary clouds. It's called circumhorizontal arc. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Or a fire rainbow, according to the National Weather Service or Weather Service office in Wilmington. The photos taken Tuesday were credited to Frank De Palma. Big shout out to Frank. Oi, oi, Frank. And mark at least the second time this summer that a fire rainbow has been photographed in the southeast. In June, one shaped like a dragon was seen over Atlanta, Georgia, according to a post on a Neil deGrasse Tyson, everyone's favourite scientist, right? Facebook group. Check out the pictures of this circumhorizontal. It sounds like a cloud or a rainbow that's had something chopped off it, right? A circumhorizontal. It's had half its horizontal chopped off. I'm just thinking of other words that circum. Where does that come from? Anywho, the origin of the term fire rainbow is nowhere near what I've been hinting in the past couple of minutes. Appears to be up for debate, with some saying that it describes a rainbow that has spontaneously combusted. Romantic explanation that it resembles a mythical dragon's fiery breath. We can't put into science books, though, that this is a phenomenon called by a mythical dragon's fiery breath, as much as I would like to. As much as I would like that in my curriculum. Not circum, but curriculum. Multiple atmospheric conditions must be aligned for the arcs to appear, including ice crystals, according to NASA. So, quote, why would clouds appear to be different colours? The reason here is that the ice crystals in distant cirrus clouds are acting like a little floating prisms, NASA reported in 2019. So, you see, this is relatively new that they've come up for an explanation with this kind of thing. I don't know if I'm really buying it too much. I remember back at the time, people said it was maybe even a sign of piezoelectricity being released by the Earth. And I don't know why I'm going like that. I think it's friction. Friction, right? See? That's why I'm going like that. Exactly, Bet. Circumstances. That's what I was talking about. That'll do. That gets me out of a hole. There you go. So I don't know. A weird one. Just the ice crystals lining up, ladies and gents. It's okay. And then here, this was the bad one that I first seen over on Kevin McCairn's channel. But this is this mudslide that they had over in Japan. Utterly crazy, especially when you cast your mind back to the massive earthquake and tsunami and everything that went on there. Just look at that. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. So now I've got Discord open. And if anyone wants to throw any... Whoa, there we go. Thank you, ZX. ZX must have known where I was going with that. So I was just about to say, if anyone wants to chuck any kind of earth-changey type stuff over into Discord, put it in the general chat and I'll bring it up. But ZX posted this picture. Oh, this is pretty cool. I don't know, is it real, ZX? Or is it one of your... is it from one of your artsy-fartsy type people? Because ZX is a bit of an artist, you see. I've got to ask. But that there, that's pretty stunning, right? That looks like more like a dragon's breath than that last effort we've seen. I'm just saying. And look at that. It's a bit different. Pretty cool all the same, right? Pretty cool all the same. So listen, I'm going to get a quick drink of coffee. I'm going to come back. I'm going to see what you people in the chat room are saying. Hopefully you can... So it is art. It is art. Either way, it's pretty wow. That is some picture. I actually might take that from a... It's real. Holy shimoly. Whereabouts was this taken, dude? I'm thinking it might have been close to Russia with the writing like this. Love drone photos. Hey, Wanda, good to see you. Common in Australia. Interesting, Donny. Cool, man. Talking of Australia, we're going back down under for Freaky Friday tomorrow. Hey, yep, it'll be a strange Saturday if you're in Australia, but a Freaky Friday everywhere else. Technically, I'm on a Saturday when it's Freaky Friday. It's after midnight, right? But because the network's based in the US, it's still Friday. So that's how we get away with it. Hey, Brassneck, good to see you. Marky boy. Yep, pretty stunning photo. Must admit, that's pretty cool. So listen. Hey, ZX is on it. We'll take a look at this one here. And then what I'll do is I'll get a quick drink of my lovely coffee I've got here. Beautiful psychedelic rainbow-coloured jellyfish clouds. Okay. So they're jellyfish clouds back in 2019. The plot thickens. Plot thickens. A photographer has captured incredible images of a psychedelic rainbow-coloured cloud, which looks like a jellyfish. Can't argue with that. So Russian photographer, told you it was Russian, Svetlana Kazina, from the Altai Krai region in south-central Russia. Allegedly, that's close to where Edward Snowden's hiding out. I don't know, I'm only joking. A diplomatic international incident. There'll be Spetsnaz up there looking for him. Well, no, they're protecting him, right? Duh. So captured the incredible clouds floating around the Beluga mountain. Beluga, is that not a form of like caviar? Is that Beluga? Oh. Which is the highest peak in the Altai Mountains? The stunning images show the multicoloured clouds floating over the valleys. So, maybe they're just proud. Maybe it's a proud parade of clouds. I'm just saying, too soon, probably too edgy, probably. I'll be back in a moment, folks. Don't go anywhere. Hold that thought. They're a different tune. There you go. Woo-hoo.
Gherkins are in the house. The gherkins are in the house.
No, I meant Snowden. Nothing as it seems. I meant Snowden. That's who I meant. It's all right. Ignore me. It's one of those days. That's right, Donnie. Donnie's nailed it. That is my on hold music. On hold. Everything's on hold. Yes, indeed. And of course, I was doing my very funny...
Gherkins have landed.
The Gherkins. Karen, of course. Karen. Big shout out to Karen. And Andy. And Zach the dog. Can't forget Zach either. Ricky Murphy. Good to see you in the chat room. New name on me. I like new names. New names, new faces. All very cool. So listen, we've been talking about Earth changes, and there might be a significant kind of article out right now that doesn't explain any of the Earth changes we've been talking about. But we started off today's stream by taking a look again at the latest offering from Ben Davidson in the disaster cycle series of videos that he's been doing. If I come back over here, I'll be able to get that whole playlist up for everyone. so we can take a look at that. Played it recently over on the Kev Baker show. All of the videos, we decided to go through all of them. There's 22 videos in this series right now. Come over here. This is it. Ben Davison, The Next Disaster, Part 1. Ice, Fire, Magnetism. And you can scroll down all of these here. And they are all very, 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 very informative. And they deal with a 12,000 and 6,000 year cycle. And we're in a window of time right now, folks. Right now. And they talk about the flipping of the planet in this series as well. A 90-degree tilt. And what could a 90-degree tilt throw up in our past, if we think about it? Well, we have to shift the polar regions to a far more warmer climate. We've looked in the past at these ancient maps and things of Antarctica, where you see it not covered in ice and stuff like that. In the video by Ben Davidson, he talks about how they've just uncovered a dinosaur egg up in the Arctic. And they can't figure out how dinosaurs were able to live up in the Arctic when it was that cold. But if you move the Arctic to a place on the planet where it was warmer, that easily explains why there might have been dinosaurs there, right? And one of the things Ben talks to and points to about when it comes to this rotational flip, and I'm not just talking about the magnetic poles, talking about a literal planet shifting, okay? And he points to the core of the planet and the plumes of magma and stuff coming off it. And there's been yet more articles coming out to support Ben, exactly what you heard him saying in the opening of the video. And more science is starting to take a look at the stuff that Ben and Dutch Synths talk about. Because the evidence is mounting up, folks. And the scientists are starting to see that their current models of things don't fit what they're actually observing happening. Not just with our star and our planet and our solar system, but other stars, other solar systems not too far away from us. And this here really caught my attention because it says Earth's inner core is growing lopsided. And that could be significant because when you've got something spinning and you've got a weight coming off one portion, one axis of it, you can actually start to picture in your mind's eye how that's more likely to, at some point, flip. The weight, push it over. But let's see what it says here, okay? I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I am just a man. Some say I'm a half man, a halfling sitting in Glasgow. I'm not qualified in nothing. I'm just offering my crazy, crazy opinion from the safety of where I broadcast on Speculation Island. Yes, indeed. I provide, you decide. So let's take a look at this. It says the inner core of our planet is growing more on one side than on the other. So why isn't it tipping over? I would put in there, yet. So more than 5,000 kilometers beneath us, Earth's solid metal inner core wasn't discovered, or we're still struggling to answer basic questions about when and how it first formed. Now, these aren't easy puzzles to solve. We can't directly sample the inner collaboration between seismologists who indirectly sample it with seismic waves, geodynamicists, wow, who create models of its dynamics, and mineral physicists who study the behavior of iron alloys at high pressure and temperature. So combining these disciplines, scientists have delivered an important clue about what's happening miles beneath our feet. In a new study, they reveal how Earth's inner core is growing faster on one side than the other, which could help explain how old the inner core is, formed very early in our planet's 4.5 billion year history, within the first 200 million years. It's hard to even wrap our little brains around numbers like that, isn't it? Isn't it? Gravity pulled the heavier iron to the center of the young planet, leaving minerals to make up the mantle and crust. Of this heat and heating by ongoing radioactive decay have since heat loss in Earth's interior drives the vigorous flow in the liquid iron outer core, which creates Earth's magnetic field. Meanwhile, cooling within the Earth's deep interior helps power plate tectonics, which shape the surface of our planet. As Earth cooled over time, the temperature at the centre of the planet eventually dropped below the melting point of iron at extreme pressures, and the inner core started to crystallize. I hear a lot of people talking about there. I don't know, I've never been. So today, the inner core continues to grow at roughly 1 millimetre in radius of 8,000 tons of molten iron every second. In billions of years, this cooling will eventually lead to the whole core becoming solid, leaving Earth without its protective magnetic. I wonder if that's what happened to Mars. So one might that the solidification creates a homogeneous solid sphere, but this isn't the case. In the 1990s, scientists realized that the speed of seismic waves traveling through the inner core varied unexpectedly. This suggested that something asymmetrical was happening in the inner core. Now, specifically, the eastern and western halves of the inner core showed different seismic wave speed variations. The eastern part of the inner core is beneath Asia, the Indian Ocean, and the western Pacific Ocean, and the west lies under the Americas, the Atlantic Ocean, and the eastern Pacific. The new study probed this mystery using new seismic observations combined with geodynamic, I got it this time, right? Not geodynamicists. See, I got it that time. Modelling and estimates of how iron alloys behave at high pressure. They found that the eastern inner core, located beneath Indonesia's Banda Sea, is growing faster than the western side beneath Brazil. You can think of an uneven growth as like trying to make an ice cream in a freezer that's only working on one side. Ice crystals form only on one side of the ice cream where the cooling is effective. In the Earth, the uneven growth is caused by the rest of the planet sucking more heat quickly from some parts of the inner core than others. But unlike the ice cream, hey, Malaya. There we go. There we go. And I've got new graphics coming, folks. I've got ZX sent me some more. What do you call them? Captain Obvious. I don't know why I slapped that there. More Captain Obvious. So we've got other poses from Captain Obvious on the way. He's not just mic dropping. Yes, indeed. We're going to get rid of that silly cat as well. But thank you, Malaya. A renewal, not a new member. We want new members, folks. We need about 10 new members for a new emoji. I want to get my Bakshi emoji. I need to get a Bakshi emoji in there. I have to. So it says that unlike the ice cream, the solid inner core is subject to gravitational forces, which distribute the new growth evenly through a process of creeping interior flow, which maintains the inner core's spherical shape. This means that the Earth is in no danger of tipping, though this uneven growth does get recorded in the seismic wave speeds in our planet's core. Not much to go here, folks. I know me reading is boring, but I thought I'd throw this in here. It says, dating the core. So does this approach help us understand how old the inner core might be? Listen, everybody knows you don't ask the inner core how old it is. It's rude. No, come on. Come on, man. Some decorum.
Come on, man.
Exactly, Joe. Exactly. Come on, man. So when the researchers matched their seismic observations with their flow models, they found it's likely that the inner core, at the center of the entire core, which formed much earlier, is between 500 and 1.5 or 1,500 million years old, or as any normal human would call that, 1.5 billion. Craziness, right? The study reports that the younger end of this age range is a better match. Although the older end match is an estimate made by NOAA, not a mojo, made by measuring changes in the Earth's magnetic field. Correct. And in this world, hey, the core of the planet can be what it wants, okay? It can identify as anything it wants. It can be whatever age it wants. Whichever number that turns out to be correct, it's clear that the inner core is a relative youngster, somewhere between a ninth and a third as old as the Earth itself. This new work represents or presents a powerful new model for the inner core. However, another's made would have to be true for this to be. What they're saying here is everything we've read up till now, in reality, could be bunk. It could be bunk because they're just assuming that some things are true in the first place. For example, the model only works if the inner core consists of one specific crystalline phase of iron, about which there is some uncertainty. And does our uneven core make the Earth unusual? It turns out that many planetary bodies have two halves, which are somehow different to each other. On Mars, the surface of the northern half is lower lying, while the southern half is more mountainous. The moons Mercury and Jupiter, it's not the surface which is uneven, but the magnetic field, which doesn't form a mirror image between north and south. So while the causes for all these asymmetries vary, Earth appears to be in good company system of lopsided celestial bodies. Yes, indeed. And Mark says, Kev is doing it, so we do not buffering. Why are we cutting in and out? What is that all about? It's got to be YouTube, folks. Let's see. I paused it for a second. It should come back on. It's been all good here as well. How are we now? Good now? No, Z-Troy, I should have, I know I froze there because I turned it off to kind of see what settings I was running in the background, but I wasn't even on like full HD or anything. Crazy. Hey, Mark, see, that's how you know I'm not a shill, you see? Or am I? Am I? Everyone's a shill on the internet nowadays. Everyone thinks everyone's a shill, right? So listen, I'm going to play a video here, if I can. Give me 2 seconds. Again, it's from our very good friend. I say that's terrible. That's like a big stretch. Ben Davidson doesn't know me from Adam, ladies and gentlemen. It's let's see. Here we go. So this really deals with what we're talking about here. This lopsided nature, the way that the core and stuff comes off it, okay? And what better way to learn about it than to go to who I would learn about it. A big thank you to ZX for finding this particular video, because this is the one I had in my mind when I was even reading out that kind of blurb there. And I'm sorry to folks out there if it started stuttering or things like that. Kev, I've been having buffering a lot lately on all channels, including a lot of replays too. You know where I got that today as well, Marty? Over on CW Chanter's channel. And again, it wasn't an HD video, nothing like that. And then I went to another channel, everything was fine. I seen John Brisson on We've Read the Documents. He had actually put a video up the other night, and it was in some crazy resolution where it was like maybe like a letterbox, but it went right away across the screen. So I don't know if they're maybe doing something on the back end, which invariably they are. to improve it for the users, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because Google loves you. No, but they do. They do. And I'm not even saying, I'm not lying. They do. Shh. Here we go. Fair use, fair use.
Good morning, folks. Today we've got a
fair
paper
use,
that
fair
finally
use.
makes sense.
I do promise to try and transform this. At the very least, this original video did not have my ugly radio face at the side of it. And it does fit with what we're talking about here. And it's a far more scientific breakdown of me misreading that article. Here we go.
Another new kind of lightning is identified. We've got a typhoon hero and a considerable update on the internal skeleton of Earth. We're starting with our star at spaceweathernews.com, and we find the last day on the sun was largely a turning exercise until a little pop on the north, right side near the end. It was mostly...
Now, folks, this isn't the bit we're looking for, because this isn't... Here we go.
Thunderstorms. Now, last but not least on the article front, I bet this is what they taught you the inside of the Earth looks like.
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Just isn't so. And the most critically important discovery that still doesn't make it into kids learning about the Earth is...
Look at that there. This is what we're talking about, folks. This is it. This core, and then you got the bits coming off it, okay?
Is the LLSVPs, the large, low shear velocity provinces, continent-sized extensions of the core like handlebars reaching up through the mantle and fingering out to various volcanic hotspots. Today, we confirm that the Reunion hotspot in the Indian Ocean is in fact one of those fingers. It was predicted to be the case by the model used by Oak Ridge and Berkeley, but it still needed to be confirmed. By the way, in our disaster series, you may recall that these giant internal structures can play an enormous role in the induction of the solar flash throughout the planet, the rotation glitches linked to geomagnetic jerks and solar storms, and in the worst of the planetary effects, mantle heaving. We greatly appreciate your support. We've got wind...
Now, there's another one. There's another video as well, where, I don't know if you remember it, ZX, but it's the one where Ben shows the space station where they've got the thing spinning and it flips over and it keeps flipping back. It's like a T-shaped thing. And it's flipping around, it's spinning around, and whoop, it turns, its axis shifts because of the kind of the bit coming off it. Indeed. Now, somebody asked if I'm wearing this lovely Italy strip because it triggers the English. No, I got this Italy strip early on in the tournament because I'd put money on them early on in the tournament, because when I took one look at them playing in their first game, I said, well, they're winning it. No lie. Anne, is that what I done? And I always tend to choose Italy, which Anne had to go and point out. I like Italian football. Very boring. Very tactical, but no, it's just a bonus if it triggers any English people along the way. You got to remember, I'm not one of these rabid cybernats that wants to keep English people out of Scotland. I had a fantastic portion of my life living down in England, loved it. England's the same as any other place on the planet. Scotland's the same. There are great people, and then there are complete and utter... It is what it is, folks. It's the same as anywhere. So no, dude, I'm not like that. Bit of friendly banter, absolutely. But isn't that what sports meant to be about? So yeah. So Tony, if it has triggered you, it's for all the right reasons, all right? All the right reasons. Kev the Yellow Carder Clan, no, I'm not one of those people that stand down on the border and tell the English to go home. That's terrible. That's utterly, these people are archaic. Archaic, they are. Not Kev, Karen, he frozen. I'm lost, Donny. Am I frozen in Australia? That'd be bizarre, right? Hot country, me frozen. Actually nice and warm here today again. But listen, folks, I've just become aware of the time and I've got less than half an hour to go and get ready for a show that I don't need to get ready for today. Why don't I need to get ready? Because Scotty Lopez is coming on. He's got a lot to talk about. Joe Joseph, I offered him the chance. Before we go away today. ZX found it. Here we go. This is the thing I was butchering a moment ago. Take a look at this little video here. Now look how that spin. Now look how it topples over. See? Because why isn't that? Is there no volume to it? No. Because of that kind of uneven. Well, it's when you get two bits of weight across the center. That's what happens. Now, when you compare that to the picture of the planet, and it's got these kind of handlebars on it, you see where we're going? You see? You see? Is what it is, folks. Is what it is. And I'm telling you, can you see it? And we've not even got it on the screen. There we go. So look at this here, right? You got these bits here coming off the Earth. You can see them again on this bit
up
here.
Through the mantle,
right?
And fingering out to various volcanic hotspots. Today, we confirm that the reunion...
Okay, and then you come over here to what ZX sent us. And if we look at this, check that out. See how it spins and then topples over on its axis? See that? That's what we're talking about. Yep. Sam lost me completely. I think there's just stuff going on with YouTube. I don't think it's like I say, I've had issues on channels as well. Now I don't know who Z-Troy's. What's he saying here? What's Z-Troy saying? Hang on, we come over here. Z-Troy says, I wish I was with the Paralympians and helped the hero guys last week, Kev. Very humbling, all right. But I kept my banter high and had a great day out with these champs. Oh, dude, absolutely. Hats off to you, brother. Hats off to you, yeah. Very, very humbling indeed. Very humbling. That's why some days, you think you're having a crap day, and it can be for the most stupid of reasons. When you compare it to what other people's days are like, and they don't only just get on with it. They don't only just get on with it. They seem to improvise, adapt, and overcome and achieve unimaginable things against all the odds. And that's the kind of people that I take inspiration from. Big time. They're the real heroes in this world. Absolutely. Well said, Troy. Well said. Okay, let's see. I know what triggers you, Kev. Nay saying eating and drinking with his mic on. Ha ha! Yep. That's a bad one. My mum as well, when we're playing like Scrabble. I think she does it on purpose. She gets the most crackly, annoying sweeties and bits of paper and does it right at the microphone and yeah. Absolutely. Now I see somebody talking about so if the earth flips poles, does that mean I have to start drinking lousy Australian lager? Oh, g'day, mate. I tell you, there's nothing wrong with the Australian lager. I know for a fact Australians must have great lager because they love lager. In fact, 4X, I like a Foster's. Nice cold Foster's. Oh, been years since I've had one of them. Now you put me in the mood for a beer, but listen, folks, I need to get out of here. I've got shows to do and people to see, and all of you to go and see when I open up, not KBS today. We're going to be opening up the Woodshed. Yes, indeed. And I am going to be putting Joe Joseph and Scotty Lopez to work on the KBS wood chipper. Oh, yeah. Thank you all for joining in today. It's been a blast. No fear. Just lots of weird stuff going on in the world. You got to have eyes in the back of your head right now, right? There's that much going on. It's crazy. It's crazy. So join me over on TFR live in less than 25 minutes time. Can you wait that long? Of course you can. I'm out of here. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Oh, Scott Lopez, he is locked, he's loaded, he's ready. I will catch you all very, very soon over on the Kev Baker Show on your #1 network, Truth Frequency Radio, or over in Discord. We'll see you all